So the National Council of Jewish Women, which is an organization I love and support, has declared this Shabbat Reproductive Rights Shabbat. And because I am a big supporter not only of the National Council on Jewish Women, but a big supporter of Jewish women, this is a sermon dedicated to this important cause. So I want to begin just by saying that I think all Jews should be passionate supporters of religious freedom in America, because we should recognize that we Jews benefit from the wall of separation between church and state, because it allows a tiny minority like ours to thrive in a big country like ours. After all, there are 65 million more Catholics in America than there are Jews. There are 3.5 million more residents of New York City than there are of all the Jews in America. Jews make up 2% of the United States population. Self-identified evangelical Christians, 35%. And yet, because this country values religious diversity, we have thrived in America like no other period in Jewish history, thank God. But sadly, those days seem to be coming to an end, because now the dominant religious communities in this country not only want to practice their own faith, but they want to impose it on the rest of us, and our government and our courts increasingly seem to agree. There are many ominous examples. So recently, the Supreme Court ruled that a state-funded Philadelphia Catholic adoption agency could turn away gay couples, and now a Christian adoption agency in Knoxville, Tennessee, has used that logic to turn away Jewish couples. And we're about to witness a woman's right to autonomy over her body, the right to make the most personal decisions regarding family planning stripped away from her. So that's why the National Council of Jewish Women has declared this Shabbat Reproductive Rights Shabbat, even though in America in 2022 it shouldn't have to. We shouldn't have to discuss the Supreme Court stripping women of their rights. We shouldn't have to talk about how state governments across this country have already placed draconian, demeaning obstacles before women seeking medical attention, but here we are. Now, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. on Zoom, Rabbi Schachter is going to talk about the Torah passages that approach this issue, so you're welcome to join her, but just know this. From the Torah itself and through 1,800 years of rabbinical adjudication, our Judaism has placed the responsibilities for decision regarding a pregnancy with the women. And when a woman's life or health is jeopardized by a pregnancy, our tradition has always taught that the woman's life and health are paramount. In some cases, abortion is even required. Now, that's not to say that an embryo or a fetus have no moral significance. They do. They are potential life. And our tradition provides extraordinary protections for pregnant women so they can safely carry a pregnancy to term. Some of us even studied some of those Talmudic passages earlier this year. And also, there is a wonderful, healthy, nuanced, sophisticated debate in our tradition as to what constitutes a threat to a woman's life or health, including emotional and psychological health. Some sources are more liberal, some are more narrow, because our tradition is not cavalier about what we can do with our bodies. Judaism teaches that our bodies are sacred, but Judaism teaches that abortion is not murder. And our sages have been, I think, appropriately humble and deferential about pregnancy. After all, the rabbis who wrote those rulings knew that they were men. In our Reform movement, we went on record supporting a woman's reproductive rights first in 1935. We reaffirmed them in 1965, and have been proudly pro-choice ever since. And beyond the way that women are harmed and dismissed and subjugated by anti-choice laws, what should scare us is that majority religious views in this country are trampling all over ours. In America, we shouldn't have to be afraid that the government will legally erase our Jewish approach to such personal and sensitive matters as to what kind of medical attention a woman can receive. Our voice, our Jewish voice, is silenced. Our religious approach to these intimate issues is about to be rendered moot and illegal. Now, it should be noted that women in New York State will not face these traumatic restrictions, but we Jews have never been insular in our approach to human rights. If the lives and futures of poor women, disproportionately women of color in Texas and Mississippi and South Dakota, are harmed, if they are threatened and terrified, then we have to stand with them. After all, in the past, when Jews have been threatened, how many times have we heard, well, the Jews are not our problem, to our people's detriment and worse? And how many times also have we read about so-called pro-life politicians and pastors suddenly finding their wives and daughters and sisters in an uncomfortable situation and flying them to New York, while their poorer constituents who lack the funds suffer the consequences of their hypocrisy? So again, the truth is, women's rights should not have to be a topic of conversation in 2022. A person's most intimate, emotionally charged, anxiety-provoking decision about her body and her future shouldn't be a political football. And women's bodies should not be the subject of state legislature floor debates, condemning the women, cavalierly calling the doctors who help them murderers. I also want to say, thank God there are women who choose to carry their pregnancies to term and then offer their babies up for adoption. Thank God for them. They make dreams come true. They create families. They're heroines. Many in our community have adopted children, thank God. But because some women oppose abortion, all women should not be forced to abide by that opposition. One woman's decision to carry a pregnancy to term because of her religious beliefs or for any personal reason shouldn't force all women into the same decision. But here we are. I want you to know that as your rabbi and pastor, I've sat with lots of anguished women over the years, assault victims, couples who were so excited about having a child and then only to discover some tragic problem late in pregnancy. Women who were just getting started and then one bad decision or accident, real women, real human beings facing real emotional decisions. And in the public debate about abortion, these women are often reduced to caricatures or slogans, or they're condescended to. But we Jews, we're hopeful people. We live by our aspirations for this world, and so I'm praying for the day when we don't need to dedicate a Shabbat to women's rights. But until then, I'm here to say that we will champion those women as others try to silence them or subjugate them. We will continue to assert the basic human dignity of all human beings, justice for all women, and we will not allow another religion to trample ours, not without a fight. Shabbat Shalom. We pause for